What's up everyone? This is going to be a quick tutorial video for how to defeat Ludwig the Holy Blade in the expansion The Old Hunters of Bloodborne. So this is the Hunter's Nightmare I'm running through right now. This isn't the base game, this is the expansion like I said, so you do have to buy this to get to this part of the game. It's actually pretty tough. I think I had to be about level 75 or 80 before I decided to actually try this in earnest. I came a couple times earlier and I found it pretty difficult. Just a couple of quick tips here. This lady I'm about to kill, this witch, is always here. So you can get a backstab on her pretty easily like that. And she'll always have an item. And I think it is usually a pebble. So, you know, la-di-da, pebble. But right here, the skeleton banging on the gate is also always here. He'll never fight back. But he always has 5 blood vials. So if you have to find yourself fighting Ludwig more than once, like I did, that's pretty handy because you can always replenish blood vials. There's a couple crows right here, not a big deal. But what I do, as far as tackling Ludwig, is I found him to be pretty difficult. So I always will summon Voltaire, the Master of Hunters, in order to use him as a distraction / backup against Ludwig because I found it to be pretty tough. Now, actually, just as a disclaimer, I'm not the best at this game. So I tried it a couple times around level 60 or so. And I found it to be just a little too hard. Ludwig just kind of squashed me right away. So at this point in the game, I think I was about level 75 or 80, and I had 50 arcane. My build is a arcane / strength build, and I'm using, as you can see, Ludwig's Holy Blade as my main weapon. And I've got a couple of fire blood gems that I got in one of the or a couple of the chalice dungeons. So I kind of built up a little bit to make myself a little bit more durable against Ludwig. And actually, I found this to be pretty surprising. So I use Voltaire as a distraction. He will kind of go in and hit one side, and I will hit the other side. So I'll let him hit the head, and I'll kind of stab him in the butt here, like you can see, and just kind of hit him. And I always use a transformed version of Ludwig's blade. It's got better reach. And in this case, it's hard to hit Ludwig otherwise. I tried it without the transformed version, and it was too hard to hit him. But I was surprised to find here that my fire blood gems were really effective against Ludwig. I was surprised at how quickly I was chipping away at his hit points. So I was just kind of, wow, this is going really well. As you can see, his hit points just keep dropping and dropping every time I take a swipe. The first few times, like I said, I didn't get more than maybe a minute into this fight, so I was surprised at how quickly and how well this went on my third attempt here. And of course, Voltaire isn't really strong. You can see most of his hit points kind of go down, but he serves his purpose, and I do most of the damage against Ludwig that way. And Ludwig's in beast form here, so he's actually pretty susceptible to fire damage. So at that point, it just became evident that using fire gems is the best way to go here. Anyway, so you can see here's the cut scene. This is part 2 of the fight. Ludwig will start using his moonlight sword at this point, and supposedly this fight becomes a little more challenging. But for me, it actually was significantly easier because I found that he didn't really do as much damage to me because I was kind of able to dodge most of his attacks and kind of avoid it. And again, Voltaire, as you'll see, is pretty effective in order, as far as distracting Ludwig and keeping him occupied, so I can just kind of do damage. So yeah, spoiler alert, I did win this fight, as you'll see here. But the second half of the fight, I used a different strategy than just swinging with the sword. I actually switched to, as you'll see here, the flame sprayer, which I have to I think plus 7 or 8. I found it to be pretty effective against a lot of bosses. So I went ahead and used the bloodstone chunks, and I just kind of spam him with fire. And you don't have to get real close to him. See, he kind of does a couple of attacks here and there, and then Voltaire will just keep distracting him, and then you just keep spamming the flame sprayer. And it's just, I love this weapon. It's great for these kind of situations. I was shocked at how easily Ludwig fell to fire even at this point. I don't know if this is technically a beast mode for him or not at this point. This first half of the fight is beast mode. I don't know about this half, but he does in fact use the a couple of attacks you have to watch out for. Here, you'll see he does an area of effect attack, and I'm not quick in dodging it, so I almost die. See, I'm trying to roll away, and not even close. He totally gets me with it right there, and I almost died. See my hit points just drop down, but luckily I hadn't used any or almost any of my blood vials, so I had plenty to heal. And again, Voltaire was just definitely a lifesaver there to keep him occupied, so I could heal up. And then you could just see, Ludwig is on the ropes. He doesn't have much left, and I do a couple of attacks, hit him with a couple of light attacks, heal up a little bit, heal up a little bit, as you can see, and then just run back in. And you want to use the bone marrow ash because it does a lot more damage. And there you go. You can see Ludwig's. This is it for him. That's it. He's done. And just like that, he's dead. So flame sprayer and blood gems that use fire gems are actually the best way to go in fighting Ludwig. And I'll just kind of leave the last part of the fight here. If you're wearing church garb, here I'm wearing the Tomb Prospector set, so I can talk to Ludwig's head, and he'll talk to you if you're wearing church garb. And if you answer this question, he asks about the church hunters. You can kind of lie to him, because obviously the church hunters aren't doing too well in Bloodborne. If you lie to him and say yes, it's like, okay, great, yeah, that's awesome. I'm happy to hear that church hunters are just doing fantastic. And he'll give you his Moonlight Holy Blade. I forget what the exact name of it is. I thought I'd use it. It's supposed to be a great arcane weapon, but I haven't found much use for it. I'm still kind of relying mostly on Ludwig's Holy Blade as opposed to that because I like it better. Anyway, hopefully this is helpful for you, and that's about it.